بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Welcome to episode 27 of the series filtering out what the Prophet ﷺ never said. I came across a video which unfortunately has gone viral, but that video, even though it has, I don't know, over 70,000 views or something, it mentions the story of Umar ibn Khattab when he was stabbed when he was leading the Salah, he was stabbed. But then towards the end, that speaker mentions, how Umar was in and out of consciousness, and then when he woke up and he heard the adhan, and people told him, "What are you doing? What do you mean you're going for Salah?" And he said that he heard the Prophet ﷺ say that there's no deen for the one who doesn't pray, and that Salah is like the head to a body, so that's the story that the speaker mentioned in that video. So I want to take this video here to point out what's authentic and what's not. So it is authentically established that Umar was stabbed while he was leading Salah, and it is authentically established as well from other narrations that after he was stabbed, when some of the companions entered upon him, and he said prayer, Salah, and then he said, "La hadda li ahad fil Islam adaa as-salah." There is no hadh or portion for a person in Islam if they lose Salah or they don't preserve their Salah. And so that narration says, so he prayed even though his wound is gushing with blood. So blood was coming out of his wound, and he still prayed anyway because he said that. So that was his statement, and this is authentically established from Umar. Again, the statement is La hadda fil Islam liman taraka as-salah. And Umar prayed then even though blood was coming out of his wound. And this is authentically established. Now, unfortunately, that speaker in that video merged a weak hadith into this story. Instead of saying that this is what Umar said, he took that part out and brought a weak hadith, which isn't even narrated by Umar himself. But there's a weak hadith from Abdullah ibn Umar in which part of it is La dina liman la salata lah. There is no deen for the one who does not pray, which is what the speaker mentioned, attributing it to the Prophet ﷺ. This is a weak hadith, and that the prayer from the deen is like the head to the body. Again, this is all part of that weak narration, weak hadith. So again, the Prophet ﷺ, this hadith, which is attributed to the Prophet ﷺ, that there's no deen for the one who does not pray, and that Salah is like the head of the body, that's a weak hadith. As far as what you mentioned about Umar's story and what Umar said from his own statement, that is authentic. As far as Umar saying that there's La hadda fil Islam man taraka as-salah, there's no portion in Islam for whoever leaves off prayer, that is authentically established from Umar's statement, and that Umar then prayed while blood was coming out of his wound. Again, that's authentically established from Umar. Unfortunately, what that speaker did, instead of finishing the authentic narrations of related to Umar's death and what he said about Salah and how he prayed, so he took that last part out and he added this hadith that is attributed to the Prophet ﷺ, which isn't authentic. It's a weak hadith, and he mentioned it along with that story. So unfortunately, this also shows us how sometimes people aren't very cautious. Even speakers, very famous shuyukh and du'at, aren't very cautious when it comes to attributing things to the Prophet ﷺ. And this is a serious issue. People shouldn't attribute things to the Prophet ﷺ that are not authentically established. And if anyone's going to jump and object, but this, but that, weak hadith could be narrated, blah, blah. A lot of people talk without knowledge. Keep that in mind. Number two, how would people like themselves if someone attributes to them something they did not say? They wouldn't like it at all. Now, how about the Prophet ﷺ, and what he says is considered deen for us? So we should definitely not attribute to him anything that is not authentic. Barakallahu feekum, jazakallahu khaira, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.